Welcome back to The Edge. Google's mandating some disclosure on election ads. Apple includes an expanded 30% fee on Facebook and Instagram ads. Check that out. Google discusses two search types that it really can't figure out yet. You're listening to News from The Edge for the week of July 1st, 2024, here on Edge of the Web Radio.
From the Edge of the Web studios, here's what we're looking at this week.
It was kind of glitchy. Wasn't that intro kind of glitchy?
Nothing wrong, glitchy.
Oh, no,
What's wrong?
It was just my headlines. I was kind of glitchy on the headlines.
Oh.
Yeah.
Glitchy on the cold read.
I heard there was some challenges with the live reads last week.
Yeah, for the audience, if you go back to last week's episode, you'll randomly hear Jacob do a cold read because I refused.
It sounded quite nice.
That wasn't part of the plan?
That wasn't part of the plan.
It looked seamless.
Sounded like
Morty said he hears the live read, and then it was me reading. I thought that's how it was planned.
Huh. Yeah, evidently he threw up his proverbial papers in the air whenever he was reading the Site Strategic script, and he walked off stage, evidently.
Yeah, because I wasn't contracted to spend half my life reading cold reads for you.
What are you contracted to do, per se?
Nothing. I don't have a contract. I just show up and do this. I'm not reading 5 slides of cold reads. It was like, what was it like? It was like paragraphs. It was an exposition.
It's a bloody script. It's a thing.
1 slide, 2 slides.
7 slides.
5 slides.
If you read them real quick, it's nothing. It's a no-brainer.
Go listen to how long it took Jacob to do it. It was like it was 10 minutes. Joe Biden, remember what he was doing faster than it took Jacob to do a cold read.
You gotta plow into that, huh? Yeah, all right. I get you.
There was less Donald Trump lies than there were seconds of Jacob reading.
See?
Just to be balanced on both sides of the political madness.
It was a hot mess that last Thursday, and so we're just going to leave it right there. This is Edge of the Web Radio. I'm your host, Aaron Sparks, owner of Site Strategics. We're covering SEO and digital marketing news of the week, separate from our weekly interview series, getting more news to you even more quickly, right? And so we're dropping as best we can. So check out all the shows over at edgeofthewebradio.com. That's edgeofthewebradio.com.
Yeah, go listen to all like 650 of them.
At once.
Right now.
I would tell you that a client of ours actually, a long time ago, was told by her boss to actually listen to these shows and write an essay on every podcast that we did.
Why?
I don't know. That's such an abusive thing.
I would love to see people write up summaries of madness that we talk about on the show.
And then Morty slammed his head into the wall 3 times. Hey, we are proud to have Site Strategics as the title sponsor of Edge of the Web. We're one of the top SEO companies here in the Midwest. Happy to be able to serve our clients for the last 20 years. This is the 20th year of our organization. So proud about that, but also proud about our team. They're consummate learners. That's the reason for this show. We'll talk a little bit about what we do later in the show, and we'll take our time doing it, by the way. But anyway, go ahead.
I don't have to read it.
Who are you, by the way? Who are you? Who's this person speaking? This is what's your name today? I mean, you go by many names. This person.
I go by many names. Today was make more news because there's not a lot of news.
There's not a lot of news. Kind of dry this week.
It was a dry day today. Not the week though. So this podcast is fine because there was a lot going on during the whole week. But if you're doing a daily thing, it's.
Oh yeah. That's right. And I heard the gratuitous plugs of the multiple shows that you're on. Last show, whenever you guys took over the podcast. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you very much for sitting in for me as show host, and thank you very much to Andrew Optimizely for jumping in there and trying to counter.
He wasn't trying to counter anything. He was adding into the kerfuffle. But I heard. Why he told you he was trying to not burn it down?
Yeah, he was. And then he lied to me. But your podcast, it's new with Barry Schwartz and Greg Finn, right?
It's a video series.
It's a video. It's not a podcast. Why isn't it a podcast? No. You need to talk to somebody about doing a podcast.
I mean, we made another list together.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I said Collider? Collaborator. I never heard of this thing before. But we're on. Yeah,
we know.
Edge of the Web.
Sweet.
They always leave out the news episodes, though. Like I don't exist at all for the show.
Well, we should really talk to them about that because it's not just a weekly. We have 2 shows every week, the interview series and the news, right?
Yeah, I got to get on these lists like 3 times each time.
So you got SERPs up, you got
the SEO rant,
and then you've got Edge of the Web, right?
Right.
Are there any other SEO podcasts that you're going to be populating? Who's next on your list, Marty?
You should do a baseball podcast.
This doesn't sound right.
Who else are you going to infect? That's what I'm really trying to understand.
In fact, that's better. Yeah, it covers nearby. Okay, in the news this week.
That is all right. So what's going on? By the way, hey, what's going on over at Wix?
Check out Search Engine Journal and Wix Studio bring you Digital Marketing Meetup, New York City.
Sweet.
Better branding for better clients. Learn how to build up your brand to get more and better clients. Join and mingle with folks like Lily Ray, Claudio Cabrera from The Athletic. There was a sign-on today.
Oh, cool.
So that's a new one. John Shahada, Nick Eubanks, Erica Schneider, Carrie Rose, Domenica D'Octavio from Journey Further. I'm believing out Terry Rice, Ray Martinez. Shout out to the Mets fan, Ray Martinez. Happy Bobby Bonilla Day to you, Ray. I feel like George Wynn will be there from the Wix side.
The George Wynn.
And I will be there. I don't know. He's some dude who does some kind of thing, whatever. He asked to come. We said, we feel bad. And Katie Morton from Search Engine Journal.
That's a big panel. Are you going to be breaking it up into different
multiple
segments?
Panels? Yeah, we're talking multiple sessions. Personal branding to leverage your agency or consultancy with Lily Ray and Carrie Rose.
Oh, cool.
How to leverage community with Nick Eubanks from Traffic Think Tank and SEMrush and Erica Schneider. How to turn branding into leads, right? How to use, because the whole point of branding is to turn it into leads eventually.
No. How
to use editorial to build up branding. A lot of good stuff.
Sounds like a very well articulated panel there.
You would think so.
You would. And it's over at the Wix Playground, right?
The Wix Playground in New York City.
And when's the date?
July 22nd.
Sweet.
5 p.m.
Everybody?
Sign up. Head over to the Wix SEO Learning Hub. You'll see a place to sign up there. Or check out my Twitter feed. I have the link pinned.
And they've got snacks.
Oh, yeah. In case you're like one of these people who only go somewhere because there's free food, there will be free food.
Hey.
And booze.
Exactly.
There we go. And booze.
It was hilarious. The last one you had, we had Mike King up there. And
King drinking champagne.
He just grabbed a bottle of champagne.
I love that guy.
All right. Well, he had something to celebrate because he had some links later on.
He kept that. Yeah, he was great. Mike was amazing.
Fantastic. All right. News article number 1 from Reuters. Google says it will require advertisers to disclose election ads that use digitally altered content that depicts real or realistic looking people or events. We have to have this. We're going to have a good deal of automatic recognition of digitally enhanced imagery because we're in the election season, folks. If you didn't know it from last week, we're absolutely in that space. Google actually opens up a new discussion on Monday that it will make mandatory for advertisers to disclose election ads that are using digitally altered content to depict real or realistic looking people or events in its latest step to battle election misinformation. So what they're doing here, there's a rapid growth of generative AI, as we all know, which can create text, images, video in seconds, and look for the AI tool that we're going to be talking about a little bit later here. In response to prompts, it actually has raised a lot of concerns about its potential misuse. And if you've not seen it already in social, it's pervasive. There's so many fictitious deepfake ads that are out there. I saw one from last year with Kamala Harris that it was manipulated to make her sound like she was drunk or something on stage, and it was a complete hack job of editing and AI. So you really we're in the space of what can you trust? What can you trust in just social content, online media content, but on top of that, advertising? These platforms have to lock it down. Meta has already been doing this earlier this year. The deep fakes that are happening are convincingly manipulated content to be able to misrepresent someone, and you, the voter, have to know what you're looking at. So we have to hold these ad platforms accountable for not letting this type of stuff squeak through.
Because the only thing that could be lying are the actual candidates themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Not the ads.
Not the ads. By the way, I believe that's actually old, not new, per Barry Schwartz at SERoundtable.com. That was reported about, when was the date he has here? September 7th, 2023. What I believe is new is that there's a checkbox that you have to now tick off to say this was or wasn't altered.
Okay.
That's why you have to go to Barry, not Reuters.
Well, wait a second here. Well, there's a number of historical points here, and they were also quoting Sam Altman and what have you, their participation in that. But
Barry is better.
Barry's better. All right. Okay.
Barry's better.
I got something else.
Now that you didn't use him, Barry's bitter.
Bitter Betty. Bitter Barry.
I'm getting one of those tattooed on my arm.
Bitter Barry?
Either Barry is better or Barry is bitter. Or maybe I should get one on each.
Barry is bitter. More accurate.
There you go.
It could be like one of those new things like Sally sells seashells by the seashore.
Yes.
Barry is better at being bitter.
Yes.
Bitter Barry.
Bitter
Barry.
Better Barry, bitter beer.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh boy. What are people listening to? Look, they're here listening to this podcast, and all of a sudden this. What the heck?
They have to do this. I know they have to do this, and I'd be mad if they didn't. But the biggest problem I have with AI and I don't even know how you get around it. And this happens on both sides. I am not calling out any political ideology whatsoever because I definitely see this on both sides. So I'm not calling anyone out. But you see it all the time where somebody says, I saw the other guy say such and such and yada yada. And the other person says, that's fake. That's been proven to be fake. Well, it sounds like something he'd say.
Right.
And then they move. That's it. Well, it sounds like something that candidate would have said. And that's it. They're proven wrong. That's, that guy never said that. We have the proof.
Oh, you're talking about the social commentary.
Right.
Whether or not it's out there.
I don't like candidate so-and-so because he said this thing. That's fake. We know it's fake. We can show it's fake. That was proven fake. That was misquoted. It was a lie. It was deep faked, whatever.
Right.
And then their next response, instead of being like, oh, I'm sorry, I fell for it or whatever, well, it sounds like something that he would say.
It's confirmation bias.
And they just don't care.
Yeah.
And so even with, and that's just it, is even with this coming out saying like, you have to say that this was faked, people just load it out there anyway. Like, I don't care. This is not really my opponent.
Right.
And they'll just spew it out there. They'll put that in small print, and then all these people just pass it along.
So what you're saying is there's an accountability for the people as well.
No, because the people who want to be angry are just going to be angry.
That's right.
And they'll spread it around, and they'll remove it, or they won't say this is not what's being said. And again, I'm not calling out one side or the other because I've definitely seen it from both sides. I
think you're right. Haters got to hate, right?
Yeah, they have to.
Speaking of, hey, Morty, we're going to talk about the next article, too. You know what I hate about this next article? Thank you very much for your participation.
That it's about ads?
It's about ads.
What do you hate?
That Google is expanding its 30% fee on Facebook and Instagram ads globally. Apple is
always picking on Google right away. It must be Google.
Just have it.
I'm wired that way, evidently.
Just got to have it.
If you go back and look, our headlines are probably 70%. Google this, Google that.
What the crap, Google? Let's give Google a break here. Apple expands 30% fee on Facebook and Instagram ads globally. They've already been doing that for the U.S. And this is advertising inside of the stream of Facebook and Instagram on iOS devices. This fee is not applicable if you're actually doing any type of ad buy at the desktop browser level. This is only whenever you're doing a boost inside of the iOS on a Facebook or Instagram feed, right? Okay, why in the world are they even? Yeah, we know why. I mean, it's the iOS. It's a captive environment there. And this article over at Search Engine Land by Anu Adegbola covered that this is a global expansion, not new here, but it certainly does bring attention to the fact that the iOS environment, the Apple environment, it is a captive space. And this is part of the entire contention of antitrust lawsuits is, oh, wow, they can actually stamp a 30% fee on anything as long as you're using its device to be able to connect to another platform, right? You're still moving through their ecosystem and they can fix anything from a transaction layer in their system. And it's kind of tough to justify that, especially since we have all centralized into the mobile space, the mobile aperture, the mobile connection that we've got around the world. You'd think that there'd be some way to be able to push back and regulate a little bit of freedom, or at least govern some of the fees that are continually being seen inside the space. If you're inside of the Apple space from an app standpoint, it's an exorbitant amount that Apple requires from payment for all of the transactions that are there. It is tough to actually make money in the Apple space on the app side of things. And they're just expanding out into the global space. So anyway, I know that ads are in your space, Morty, but what do you think about just the anti-competitive area that is the iOS?
I think it's great.
Cool. All right.
Yep.
Fantastic.
What you want?
If you want to avoid the fee, go to a desktop, right?
I'm pro desktop.
You are
I like desktop. I like having a big screen, being able to see things.
Absolutely. I love screens. I have a few
So Apple's
screens
kind
on
of
it.
doing you a favor.
It's pushing you over to just have
it's
a
telling
moment to be in your screen.
Telling you, like, this tiny ass screen is too tiny ass. Get on a bigger one.
Well, this is a tiny ass script I have to read right now. So I'm going to jump into it real quick. Hey,
Go answer my emails.
we're proud to have Site Strategic as the sponsor of Edge of the Web. He literally is. He's checking out. He'll be back in a minute. So here's a question. How do you create authoritative subject matter expertise that we know Google's looking for? Learning from your client is always the place to go, but organizing a well thought through interview process is time consuming. So this is what we've done here at Site Strategics. We've actually developed the SME, the subject matter expert interview process that's backed by our years of interview techniques, as well as some SEO research and buyer's journey persona definition. We can bring all of our techniques as that SEO SWAT team for you to be able to utilize to govern and be able to curate a great interview with your subject matter expertise or your client's subject matter expertise, because we work well with other agencies as well. Check us out, see what we can do for you and your clients over at sitestrategics.com. We can curate that content that we have out of those interviews into a lot of different areas: video content, audio content, transcripts, blog posts, and much more. Get into the untapped knowledge of your subject matter expert by having us come along for the ride and help you dig like a truffle pig. You know, you're finding those truffles. I probably shouldn't use that analogy. Anyway, remember, it's not you, it's me. All right. I can see how he would complain about that.
That was a minute and a half.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
That's a lot of.
They are the title sponsor. That's what we give through the title sponsors. A minute and a half. Read. There's a saying, if there's another group that wants to come out, the title sponsor for Edge of the Web, we'll give them a minute and a half as well. If SEO Rant wanted to be the title sponsor of Edge of the Web,
I wouldn't do that. I would do like 30 seconds because like no one wants to hear me drone on for a minute and a half at my stupid ass podcast.
I'm not going to take any inference from that whatsoever.
How long is your podcast?
Yeah.
30 minutes, 25 minutes.
It's a long ass podcast.
Yeah, it is. Like no one listens to the end anyway. And that's the actual content.
I don't know what to say there.
Nothing, just next article.
All right, fine. And this, I really wanted to get your take on this, Morty, because you have been in the space of consumer intent, search intent for a while here, understanding SEO. Well, from Search Engine Journal, Matt Southern teed up an article. Google has two types of searches it still struggles with, and he's actually quoting from a recent podcast from Google Search Off the Record, where Elizabeth Tucker, the director of product manager over there at Google, says there's two types of queries that still remain challenging. And at the core of this is the not factor. All right. So what does that mean? That means
Google's a good search engine, not.
See? So if you're searching a query string and you put in a not as a factor, a negative, right? Google's still having a tough time trying to understand what your intent is. So for an example here, if you're looking for, and they put in the example from the podcast, Google's algorithms could interpret a search like shoes not made in China in a couple different ways. One, does the user want shoes made in countries other than China, or are they looking for information on why some shoe brands have moved their manufacturing out of China, right? So the not has way too many intent directions that could be misinterpreted as opposed to what Google has been understanding with its BERT technology, and that's the bidirectional encoder representations from transformers. It's a neural network based technique for natural language processing that understood the connection of terms to each other and the context of what that actually meant. So long string of sentences there. But the point being, it's not, yeah, I'm going to do it.
Nat.
He said it again. Trying to understand what not actually means in the search query is tough. However, I would have assumed that this would have been one of the biggest challenges to overcome early in this new language understanding that Google's in. So I wanted to tee this up for you, Morty. Why are we seeing this as a key factor of struggle for Google? What do you think?
I'm a little bit surprised that she said this, because when they announced BERT, they said, we've solved that problem.
Exactly.
And now they're saying that they didn't solve the problems? Like, were they lying before, or are they lying now? Like, which one are you lying about?
Well, she said...
I mean, that's a little bit too harsh.
Well, she said, literally, she said, I would not say this is a problem. See, she even said it in her answer. We're still working on it. Sorry, I had to go there.
Right. I haven't seen a huge problem of that, like when I search for stuff, but maybe I'm missing it. I don't know. It was a little bit of a funny comment to say, being that they talked about it before, saying, yeah, we got it. And we can handle all these complex queries. But now they're saying, like, no, we can't handle not.
It's almost the equivalent of a negative search query factor that you can build into that thing.
It's a multiple intent. Like, it's like, what is that? You got a hanging particle, whatever it is.
Right. Hanging participle.
Yeah, right. That's what it is. Right. There we go. It's inherently confusing.
Right.
And that's like that. Maybe like that's why she's saying it, because it's not like you would expect that to be confusing to a person.
Correct.
So it doesn't make them look bad.
Which I would have assumed would have been the most important things to get right early as they went into these type of language interpreters. They also mentioned in the article... Repeat.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No.
I'm trying to find the original announcement. Go ahead.
They also talked about the preposition problem. Another area where Google's algorithms can stumble is prepositions, which show the relationship between words in a sentence. Queries like restaurants without outdoor seating or hotels near the beach rely on prepositions to convey key information about the user's needs. Yeah, I thought that's what they were doing.
Yeah, but that's so weird, because if you... Okay, so I pulled up the BERT announcement from 2019.
Oh, geez.
And they talk about like how like we can better understand the word to. Like 2019, Brazil traveler to USA needs a visa. The word to and its relationship to other words in the query are particularly important. Blah 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 blah. And here's how BERT does and solves that.
Exactly.
It's a little bit. I always think it's a little bit weird.
Yeah, I'm scratching my head.
I mean, honestly, like it could be a nice little PR strategy, because now maybe like. Now SEOs are going to be talking about, oh, Google can't do to and not, and they're not talking about like Reddit and AI overviews. But
look over here. Hey,
could be.
We can't figure this thing out.
By the way, all of those podcasts, like all those kind of like companies that people play, that's very much planned, and there's a strategy walking in, and she knew the questions beforehand.
Right. No, you're absolutely right.
I wouldn't put that. That actually makes sense to me.
So what you're saying is that's not an accurate sentiment.
It's not an actual problem that actually matters so much.
The one that stuck out to me was restaurants without. Oh, no. Oh, never mind. I misread that. Never mind. I take it back. I thought you said without outdoor seating. But you said with outdoor seating.
Did you not have a point here?
Now I don't. I misread it. I thought it said without outdoor seating. I was like, that's a lack of a feature. But it says with outdoor seating. Right. I take it back.
All right. Check out the article.
Never mind.
Not a problem.
Not.
All right. You know what's not ready for prime time, but we're going to do it anyway, is Captain Obvious. We're bringing that back around as a continued segment for Edge of the Web. And Morty, going to tee this up to you. We're actually reaching out to a number of influencers and saying, hey, you know what? If you have a Captain Obvious take, we'll take that.
It's time for a mini rant from Morty. It's time for Captain Obvious. Geez.
Captain Obvious, we got a couple of them today. I'm going to tee it up to Jacob first and then swing around to Morty. So what do we have on deck for Captain Obvious take?
We've got a report here. This is from Marketing Dive. This is going to shock the world. I'm going to read this to you guys.
Go for it.
Gen Alpha, tech sophistication will challenge brand strategies. I don't know if you guys know this. Gen Alpha has more access and more knowledge on technology.
No way.
Yeah.
So Gen Alpha is anybody who's born from 2010 on.
Yeah. They are better with technology, apparently have more access to social media and technology than I had at their age.
But I don't understand.
That's crazy.
I know. And
that can't be true.
It shocks my kids sometimes when I talk about the access I had to cell phones and social media and Snapchat when I was in middle school. in 1990, whatever. And they're shocked about, my use of cell phones and
It's amazing.
How was the
social
cell phone?
media.
62% in this study. This is literally a
Kids
study.
are
here.
blown away.
62% of parents believe their child is more social than they were at the same age, or using more social media than they were at the same age.
Yeah, we're on long car trips, and the kids are talking about their phone batteries dying, and I'm like, same, guys. When I was your age in 1980, blah, 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 and my phone battery would die, and I couldn't watch my YouTube videos anymore. Yeah.
The disparity of charging cords were a continued conversation in my household. Where's that charging block? Did you steal my charging block? I mean, that was commonplace.
All the time when I was a kid, in the 80s and 90s.
There was a good point in there like that. As such, that user base is very skeptical of what they consume, which you would think would be an obvious point. But I have talked to prominent SEO people like, no. Like, people are skeptical on the web. That's not true. But to me, that's an obvious point. People are highly skeptical on the web.
Absolutely. And that was actually the point of the article, not to trash this article completely, but it was the point of how skeptical Gen Alphas are to celebrities and celebrity endorsements now. That they're, only 14% were actually making buying decisions. Not that they can actually make buying decisions right now. So they're still pretty darn young, right? But they are not being influenced by, by celebrities like we were back in our day.
That's right.
So brands have to be even more technologically savvy to be able to reach
sneaky
to be able to reach Gen Alpha, right?
Yeah, or just like
be real,
more holistic and more conversational. But yeah, that too.
I did see a tweet where this little Gen Alpha girl just stole her mom's credit card and bought a $600 purse.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that was not a good idea.
It did not go well.
It did not go well. All right. What's the other hot take from a Captain Obvious lineup here? Morty, you had one last week that you didn't get to.
Oh, yeah, we didn't do it. What was it last week? Oh, right. That and I'm talking to SaaS companies when I say this a lot, but it applies to many other companies too. You being jealous and wanting to be as big as your biggest competitor and doing things for marketing so that you can become as big as your competitor that you won't admit you're jealous about. Wait, that is not a marketing strategy. That is you being a jealous little bitch.
Shouldn't put that into your mission statement.
Yeah.
All right.
But all the time. You see companies do this all the time.
Yep. All right. Well,
I want to be as big as they are. Okay.
That's great. Good for
50
you.
years you'll be as big as Allstate, new insurance company. Not now, you jealous little bitch.
Damn, let's close the chapter of Captain Obvious before it gets even worse. All right, some AI news real quick. Now, this is something that you have to pay attention to that scared the pants off of me. Microsoft details the skeleton key AI jailbreak. This is from AI News, artificial intelligence-news.com from Ryan Dawes. Microsoft has disclosed a new type of AI jailbreak attack dubbed skeleton key, which can bypass responsible AI guardrails in multiple generative AI models, such as Google's Gemini Pro, OpenAI's GPT 3.5 Turbo and GPT-4, Mistral Large, Anthropic's Claude 3, and the like, Llama 3 as well. What it's doing, this is pretty messed up. It employs a multi-turn strategy to convince an AI model to ignore its built-in safeguards. Once successful, the model becomes unable to distinguish between a malicious or a sanctioned request and legitimate ones, effectively giving attacker full control over the AI's output. All of the affected models that I just referenced there complied fully with the requests across various risk categories, including explosives, bioweapons, political content, self-harm, racism, drugs, graphic sex, and violence. So, thank you. Literally.
This is what you want.
This is exactly what you want. You want to be able to have something out there that can convince the models to completely disregard the safety protocols that we're putting into these systems. Yeah, that's not scary.
Right.
On top of that, what's also even more scary, OpenAI, another article from AI News, OpenAI just shut the doors on China. OpenAI has decisively blocked access from its site from mainland China and Hong Kong, cutting off developers and companies from some of the most advanced AI technologies available today. Yeah, nothing's going to go wrong there as soon as you actually separate from, 5 billion people.
They'll just get a VPN.
I mean, this article presented by Nord. But the point being here is that there's going to be some major geopolitical challenges here if the tech companies are actually doing this back and forth between nations without any connection to politics or national leaders. I mean, this is AI technology. It can certainly create offshoots and incubations in different countries if the blockades are out there. But man, these are some major moves made by companies that are maybe not taking into consideration everything that's happening on the geopolitical landscape. That's about as far as I can take this, you know? Yikes.
It's good.
It is good.
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, by the way, YouTube also now lets you request removal of AI-generated content that simulates your face or your voice. And damn it, I was about to actually make a really cool AI model of Morty, but I'm not going to be able to pull it off now that YouTube.
No, I have my consent.
Well, he has to find it.
He's got to find it first.
Yeah.
This was over at TechCrunch from Ollie Curtis. Anyway, Meta is not the only company grappling with the rise of AI technology. YouTube has also quietly rolled out a policy to change in June that will allow people to request the takedown of AI-generated or other synthetic content that simulates their face or voice. That's good. We appreciate that. Yeah. And you have to actually answer it within 48 hours or your entire account's going to be under review.
Down.
Could this cause a problem with stuff that isn't AI-generated?
It could. What do you think? Yeah, you could literally clog up the lanes, couldn't you?
Could I, after this episode's posted on YouTube, go make a claim and say, this right here is not me?
Yeah.
You AI generated me?
Yep, absolutely. And then what would happen?
Great.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why I want to tee up is all of a sudden, what's the checks and balances? How do you actually defend against that?
Yeah.
It's not AI. Prove it. How do you
OJ would have liked that if he were still alive.
I was wondering. I haven't heard an OJ joke from you in a long ass time.
It's been a while.
I'm sorry. All right. I'm going to skip past tools. I'm going to put it in the newsletter link. There's a very cool tool out there, but I want you to check it out in the newsletter. And I'm actually rendering something right now with Morty's likeness. It was not ready for the show.
All AI tools don't work. Okay.
Well, it's still in queue. This thing has been cranking for the last hour and a half, so. It's really good. It's going to be really great, but I'll put it in the show notes. Anyway, all right, we are proud to have Inlinks as a sponsor of Edge of the Web. Did you know that entities play a major role in how search engines understand and rank content on the web? Optimizing your content solely for keywords is a thing of the past. Do not do it. Do not even think about it. You got to go into entities and actually demonstrate your subject matter expertise. And they've got some great tools to be able to create content around just that. Entity mapping, understanding competitive entity content that's out there as well is a fantastic tool set they've got over at Inlinks. So go check out edgeofthewebradio.com/Inlinks today to claim your free Inlinks account. Use the code EDGE to get a discount on your sign up as well. I think it's 15 or 20% off. I'll double check on that. All right. Fast Track with Barry Blast. Real quick. So, we're here. This is Barry Blast. We really should look at this and pepper Barry throughout the entire series of segments, you know? It's like a berry seasoning. We don't want to leave it to the end. We should really think about Barry Blast, Barry Blast, Barry Blast.
Yeah.
No?
Been around the intro like 6 times?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. All right.
Barry.
Google is dropping continuous scroll in search results. Did you check it? Have we seen it? So this is over at Search Engine Land. Continuous scroll was launched on Google mobile search in October 2021 and on desktop in December 2022. They're going to stop its continual scroll user experience where Google loads more results as you scroll past the first page. So we're going to get top 10 back, folks. So first, it's desktop first.
Back.
And starting June 25th, which was a few days ago, They're going to be turning off continuous scroll, and you'll soon see that in mobile as well. So the continuous scroll experiment, basically, right, is going to be gone. What do you think about that?
I think it's Google saving money without having to, so they don't have to render things you're not going to really click on anyway. So you probably see some impressions going down on mobile, maybe even a couple of clicks here and there. But it's worthwhile to make a note in your reporting, because if you do, it's really easy to flick your phone and get those impressions.
Yep. They're making room for more AI overview rendering, right?
Yes, obviously.
Obviously. Barry also reports over at Search Engine Roundtable, some sites hit by Google helpful content update are actually seeing some small lifts, and he's referencing a number of reports from Glenn Gabe out there. The Google September 2023 helpful content update hit a number of companies, and there's a small lift that's happening right now. However, we just got done with a spam update for June that could very well be interpreted incorrectly during that. So you got a number of algorithm changes from September 2023 to now, but Glenn's pointing out a number of lifts that they're seeing, and Lily Ray also chimed in. Some tiny positive movements among a handful of sites hit by HCU in the last few days / weeks. So how do you do that? How do you reconcile that this is a lift of a previously hit site on one algorithm whenever there's a series of other algorithm changes that are coming through? You really can't make that direct correlation, right?
No, it's a big problem. But like Glenn's tracking these, saying like, hey, these are HCU sites, and you're the first time you're really seeing like an uptick. And there's been recent volatility, but it's interesting. I mean, it's very slight, but it's the first time it looked like.
Well, I guess my question is, doesn't it bear scrutiny that a HCU site that got hit had spam in it? And if they were fixing their helpful content, then a spam
That's
algorithm.
what I'm saying. I don't know. Was it spam? Because you don't know. Was it really like, because there's been so much volatility, like, like December Sensor, all these like weather tools. There's been a ton of volatility over the last, outside of just the spam update. It's not just a spam update. There's like normal volatility going on.
Right.
So maybe they're testing something out. It'd be interesting to see like in a week from now, 2 weeks from now, if you see like those gains go back down.
Exactly. It could very well be that it's just a blip.
What the hell knows?
We never know. And there's so many things happening now that you can never ascribe, unless, I guess the only question is, from those HCU sites, have they been cleaning up their mess, right? And that has to be inferred that if they were actually...
I'm sure some of them have.
All right, last article, then we'll cut you loose, Morty. Thank you so much for playing. I appreciate it. Over at Search Engine Roundtable on June 28th, Barry writes, Bing, people also ask, may now include AI-generated content. Oh, come on. Really? One more AI-generated piece of content, right? They're now going to include on their people also ask section a disclaimer that says includes AI-generated content. So it's not people also asking. It's generated augmentation into what it thinks people are asking. Last November, he covered how Bing Search may use actually AI to write search snippets, so it should be no surprise that Bing is expanding beyond that point. And obviously, Bing has a direct relationship with OpenAI. So people also ask, it's not really authentic questions from people if all of a sudden AI is getting in there and suggesting additional questions that are logically next step. However, I do want to make a preface here that we are going the point of predictive analyses from these engines. The whole Bayesian logic there, that if you're selecting this, this, and this, or you're asking these questions, the next set of questions could very well be predictive by AI, and there's an opportunity for SEOs, and it should be content strategy that you're regularly wanting to write, is that if there's the basket of insight from search intent and queries, and the next questions that people are going to ask, you probably actually should be sewing it into your content anyway, because it is helpful to continue that journey, right?
Yeah. And also AI is good. Should be everywhere on the Bing search.
And that's the quote of all quotes right there. That's going to be my new ringtone for Morty right there.
AI is good.
AI is good.
AI is good.
AI is
everywhere.
good.
Should be everywhere.
All right, sir. Got anything left in the tank this week?
No, I'm all empty.
You are? Yep. Well, I highly recommend driving, if you're in Branson and driving around, you need to go to a fantastic candy and fudge place called Uranus.
I'm doing this.
We'll cut you loose. Thank you very much. Check out Serps Up. It's dropping Wednesday right along with this podcast. Anything else you want to promote before we cut you loose?
No, I promoted too much last week. It's okay.
You really did. I was gonna talk about that.
Yeah.
What the crap? It was like he was spraying graffiti all over the walls.
It was like, I felt like it was like 4 pages worth of promotion from Morty.
Exactly.
Hey, just to match the cold read. Gotta balance it out.
All right, we'll cut you loose. That's it for The Edge this week. Make sure you check out our weekly interview series as we get it out. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And jump on over to edgeofthewebradio.com to be able to subscribe to our newsletter, where we're getting a lot more stories in from our news, because we got a lot of stuff that we don't put into the show. Again, we're 45 minutes into this bloody thing, and there's still more to talk about. It's always a great news day. So check out the newsletter so we can get our news that we curate into your inbox. Check out all the links that we've got to our sponsors as well. For that, let's wrap it up, because I've been talking too much and I've got too much coffee rolling through me. So from all of us over The Edge, stay safe, stay well, and do not be a piece of cyber driftwood. We will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.